Everyone, welcome to our ordinary council meeting for March 2025. Just for the benefit of people present, just to advise that this, under the new legislation, is a recorded meeting. And I do acknowledge we've got a member of the public here, Mr. Chris Alder. Welcome. I declare the meeting open at 4:06, running a little bit late today. To start off with, for the purposes of people who might be listening along from home or outside, I just invite everyone around the table to introduce themselves and their role in our organisation, starting off down that end of the table.
Jason Small.
Yep.
Solomon William, Manager Corporate Services.
Councillor Nadine McMurray, Deputy.
Yep, and Shire President Robert Trepp.
Manisha Bhattakur, CEO.
Ali Rose, Manager of Governance and Community Services.
Councillor Adam Metcalf.
Councillor Bev Ward.
Councillor Wayne Alsop.
Ben Forbes, Manager Infrastructure and Projects.
Chris Alder, and thank you everyone. And just to note, we do have an apology. Councillor Daryl Hudson couldn't make it today. Moving on to the first one, public question time. Chris, are you here to ask a question at all, or just to?
No, just really just come down as a matter of interest, see how you guys run things and how it all goes. Just out of interest, really.
No worries. Yeah. And just to advise, we are undergoing a new round of elections come October. So, if you so wish, you can nominate to become a councillor. Right, moving on. Do we have any councillors that have any disclosures of interest for any item in this meeting? No, let it be shown nil. Does any councillor wish to apply for leave of absence for April or May, given that we've got seating coming up? Any?
May, please.
Councillor Metcalf is requesting for leave of absence in May. Do we have to go through the approval process for that? So I move that Councillor Metcalf be allowed leave of absence for the May meeting. A seconder? Councillor McMorrin, all those in favour? What are we today? 6, love. Nobody has any petitions or presentations, so the first item of business is to confirm the minutes of our previous meeting held on the 18th of February 2025 as detailed in attachment 7.18. The recommendation, I'll read out, that by simple majority pursuant to sections 5222 and 3.18 of the Local Government Act 1995, the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held 18th February 2025 as presented in attachment 7.1a be confirmed as a true and correct record of proceedings. Who would like to move that one? Councillor Ward, and a seconder. Councillor Alsop, all those in favour? 6-0, carried. As you'll know, it was quite a busy month, late February and March. We had several committee meetings. The first two are dealt with here. Attachments 8.1a, which was the Audit and Risk Committee meeting. And we had a Bushfire Advisory Committee meeting held on the 13th of March, detailed in attachment 8.2a. I'll read the recommendation that by simple majority pursuant to questions 522, 3.18 of the Local Government Act 1995, the minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held on the 28th of February 2025 as presented in attachment 8.1a and the minutes of the Bushfire Advisory Committee meeting held on the 13th of March 2025 as presented in attachment 8.2a be received. Before I call for a mover, does anyone have any questions on contents of those minutes? No? Okay, I'll call for a mover, please. Councillor Ward, a seconder. Councillor Metcalf to the vote. 6-0, carried. As part of that Audit and Risk Committee meeting, the committee reviewed the compliance audit return for 2024, which we had only one minor, I don't know if you call it finding, which was non-significant. The details of which were in attachment 9.1A. So I'll move on to the recommendation straight away. 9.21, that the Audit and Risk Committee, 1, receives the 2024 compliance audit return as presented in attachment 7.1A, and 2, recommends to Council that it adopts the 2024 compliance audit return and submits it to the Department of Local Government, Sport and Cultural Industries prior to the 31st of March 2025, which happens to be in 4 days' time. So we just make the deadline.
Correction, allows to submit.
Okay, note that the word "and" should be
And allowed to.
"and allowed to submit it to the Department of Local Government, Sport and Cultural Industries prior to the 31st of March 2025. Who would like to move that? Councillor Alsop, and seconded Councillor McMorrin. All those in favour? Unanimous, 6 love, carry. Also, as part of that meeting, we reviewed the quarterly risk dashboard, and as I commented earlier in our workshop, job well done. It was a detailed and quite frank and honest review, and covered several items in there that had been laying on the table for at least a year, some of them. So job well done to our Manager of Governance and Community Services, spearheading that. Right, recommendation 9.21, that in accordance with regulations 16 and 17 of the Local Government Audit Regulations 1996, the Audit and Risk Committee, number 1, receives the Risk Dashboard Quarterly Report, February 2025, as presented in attachment 9.1A, detailing significant risks and required mitigation actions, and 2, recommends to Council that it adopts the Risk Dashboard Quarterly Report, February 25, with immediate prioritisation of outstanding high-risk items and sufficient allocation of resources and budget to address them effectively. Who would like to move that one? Councillor Sewell, and seconded by Councillor McMorrin. Do either of you wish to speak to that motion at all? No? Anybody against the motion? No? I'll just add a comment that once again, job well done, with a good outcome of that particular meeting. Yeah, I'm calling for the vote. All those in favour? 6-0, carry. Now, we had a good turnout at the Bushfire Advisory Committee Annual General Meeting, in which nominations were received and pretty much 100% elected unopposed for the various captains of the brigades, the lieutenants, brigade officers, equipment officers, training officers, secretary and treasurers, etc. I will not read them out line item by line item. I'll just receive them en bloc in recommendation 9.21. If everyone's happy with that, can I have someone to move that? Councillor Ward, and a seconder. Councillor Alsop. Do either of you wish to comment on any of those appointments? Or no? Okay, put it to the vote. 6-0, carry. Another item that came out of that meeting was the slight amendments to the fire restriction periods, which were detailed in attachment 9.22A. If I'm not mistaken, it was to align some potential few days here and there misalignments between fire break orders and burning periods, clean it up, and just to for anyone that's listening out there, the restricted burning period for this year does not end until the 14th of April, which is roughly 2 more weeks. You'll need a permit if you wish to burn before that time. They were detailed in the attachment 9.22a, recommendation 9.22, that the Bushfire Advisory Committee recommends to Council that fire break order for 2025 be accepted and distributed to the community with the fees and charges for the next financial year. Who likes to move that one, please? Councillor Ward, and seconded Councillor McMorrin. All those in favour? 6-0, carried. So I've doubled up here, but that was the fire break order. This one is for the gazettal of the restricted and prohibited burning periods. As I just mentioned, 14th of April is the most current one. I'll read out recommendation 9.23. The Bushfire Advisory Committee recommend Council authorises the Chief Executive Officer to write to the Department of Fire and Emergency Services Commissioner requesting that Dowerin's gazetted, restricted and prohibited burning periods be amended to align with the Shire's fire break order as follows. So the season opening period, restricted burning period, end of spring, 1st of October to the 31st of October, the prohibited burning period starting 1st of November and running through to the 14th of February, and the shoulder end or end of summer, autumn restricted burning period, 15th of February to the 14th of April. Who would like to move that one? I'll move it. Councillor Sewell seconds it. All those in favour? 6-0, carried. At this meeting, I do not have any announcements to make. Moving on to the financial activity statements. Attachment 11.1a, the February monthly financial report. We have reviewed these in the workshop prior to this meeting. For everyone listening in outside, recommendation 11.1, that Council by simple majority pursuant to Regulation 34 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996 receives the draft statutory financial activity statement report for the period of February 2025 as presented in attachment 11.1a. Who wants to move that one, please? Councillor Ward, and a seconder. Councillor McMorrin. Do either of you wish to speak or ask any questions about that report? No? Does anyone wish to speak against it? No? To the vote, all those in favour? 6-0, carried. The next two items are detailed in attachments 11.2a, the February 25 list of payments, and 11.2b, the credit card and Caltex card statements, which once again have been reviewed by the Council prior to this meeting in a workshop. Recommendation 11.2, that Council by simple majority pursuant to section 6.1a of the Local Government Act 1995 and regulations 12 and 13 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996 receives the report from the CEO on exercise of delegated authority in relation to creditor payments from the Shire of Dowerin Muni Fund as presented in attachments 11.2a and 2b as detailed below. And you'll note this month that they total up to $1,067,961.59, and I'll just make a comment that they include several payments for recent road programs that have just been completed. So this is an unusually high expenditure month. Who would like to move that? Councillor Ward, seconded Councillor Alsop. Would you like to comment on that or no? Okay, all those in favour? 6-0, carried. As part of our statutory process, we have to review our budget mid-year. We have also just finished reviewing in the prior workshop the mid-year budget, can announce that it is, as required, a zero balance budget. Everything's on track. The details were in attachment 11.3A. And you'll see in the agenda the movements in and out. So the recommendation 11.3, that council by absolute majority pursuant to regulation 33A of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, council number 1 adopts the 2024-25 budget review as presented in attachment 11.3A, and 2 submits a copy of the 24-25 budget review to the Department of Local Government, Sport and Cultural Industries. Who wants to move that one, please? Councillor Sewell, and seconded by Councillor McMorrin. Do either of you wish to make any comment or speak to those?
No, thanks.
No? No? Put it to the vote. All those in favour? Councillor Sewell? Yep. 6-0, carried. Right. Next one is an item that the Shire of Dowerin has requested that the Shire of Dowerin double its annual contribution to the Dowerin medical surgery from 25,000 to 50,000. As you might know, the Dowerin medical surgery is now operating under a different business model. We previously contributed a third of the loss that they may have made up to a maximum cap of $25,000 per year. We've had several discussions and a community consultation. There's several different options have been considered, as detailed there in the agenda. Options A, B and C. Agree to 50 grand request, continue with the existing $25,000 contribution, or discontinue entirely the agreement with Dowerin. The recommendation of our officer is detailed in 11.4, which I shall now read. That council by absolute majority pursuant to section 6.22 the Local Government Act 1995 and regulation 22 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, 1, agrees to contribute $25,000 to the Shire of Dowerin towards the operation of its medical surgery for a limited time frame not exceeding 5 years, in consultation with the Shire of Dowerin, and 2, that the council allows the CEO, on the exercise of delegated authority, to make a budget provision in financial year 25-26 to continue the contribution. Who would like to move that one? I'll move it. Do we have a seconder? Okay, so the motion fails. Sorry?
For want of a seconder.
For want of a seconder, yep. So the procedure now is to offer up an alternative motion. Who would like to propose an alternate motion? Councillor Metcalfe?
No pressure.
No.
I'm happy to. I'm happy
Yeah,
to
Councillor
put a
Sewell?
motion forward that we laid on the table.
We lay it on the table until further.
Yeah, and we can pursue further information via consultation with the Dowerin Shire.
Okay, did you get that? I'll read.
Sorry, Councillor McCarthy.
Yep.
Sorry, butting in. I didn't have anything to say.
Okay. So the alternate motion, recommendation 11.4, is that we defer the item until the Shire of Dowerin's Council has engaged in direct consultation with the Shire of Goomalling councillors and CEO.
Council and CEO. Defer.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
CEO.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to read that again for clarity? The amended motion is that we defer the item until the Shire of Dowerin's Council and CEO has engaged in direct consultation with the Shire of Goomalling's councillors and CEO. Who wants to move that one? Councillor Sewell, and seconded by Councillor McMorrin. All those in favour? 6-0, carried. The next item is a development application for a shed out on the Benjaberring Hindmarsh Road, fairly big shed, 40 metre by 24 by 7.3 metre tall, built by Ospan. Stonehaven Rural have applied, as they are the owners. It's on the southeastern boundary of our shire, adjoining the Wildcatcham Shire. As you can see in the agenda, the location is a single block of 426 hectares. There is no significant impacts, and the recommendation is to approve the proposal. There is no identified bushfire risk. The shed is considered an integral part of the agricultural operation. It is located that it is barely visible outside the property. It does not increase employment, use or traffic. It is not considered to increase any bushfire risk and does not affect any native vegetation. So the recommendation coming out of that is 12.1, that by simple majority, the Council approves the development approval application received on the 24th of February 2025, subject to the following. 1, nil conditions imposed, but with several advice notes. Number 1, if the subject of this approval is not substantially commenced within a period of 24 months from the date of approval, the approval will lapse. 2, the applicant is advised that the development approval does not replace the need to comply with other local government requirements for building. 3, the applicant is advised of the obligations of the owner to comply with the annual fire break notice issued under Section 33 of the Bushfires Act 1954. 4, if the applicant or owner is aggrieved by this determination, there is a right of review by the SAT Tribunal in accordance with the Planning and Development Act 2005 Part 14. However, this application must be made within 28 days of the determination. Pretty straightforward. Who would like to move that one? Councillor Metcalfe, a seconder. Councillor Sewell. All those in favour? 6-0, carried. The next item is we decided that we were going to reinstate our January ordinary council meetings, because we found that 2-month break without seeing each other was stretch things a bit. We've also decided to change our meeting date to the 4th week of the month, being the 4th Tuesday. This is a somewhat unique case today because it's a Thursday, because there was a clash. So yes, the updated meeting schedules will take place fourth Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. instead of the third Tuesday. This gives more time to digest the agenda and, as I stated earlier, reinstate the January ordinary meeting. So the policy had to be revised to allow for such. So recommendation 12.2, that council by simple majority pursuant to sections 272B and 5.41 of the Local Government Act 1995 adopts the revised 1.7 council meetings policy subject to the marked changes in the draft policy as presented in attachment 12.2A. Shall I wait for Councillor Metcalfe to return? Yep. Does anyone have any questions on that motion? Those people outside, we are just waiting for Councillor Metcalfe to return to the chambers. Right, Councillor Metcalfe has just returned. Recommendation 12.2, who would like to move that one? Councillor Ward, and seconded Councillor Alsop. All those in favour? 6. Love, carry. Second last item of business is workshop procedures policy. As we are now having workshops in between council meetings to discuss council agendas effectively, we have to have a policy detailing the conduct of such. And this policy basically specifies the commencement time of said workshop being 12 o'clock on the fourth Tuesday of every month, which is 4 hours prior to each scheduled council meeting. If the workshop discussion is insufficient to be had in the 4-hour period, it flows over till after the council meeting. So recommendation 12.3, that council by simple majority pursuant to sections 2.72B and 5.41 of the Local Government Act 1995 adopts revised 1.18 workshop procedures policy subject to the marked changes in the draft policy as presented in attachment 12.3A. Who would like to move that? Councillor Alsop, and a seconder, Councillor Ward. Would you like to speak to it? All those in favour? 6-0, carried. Okay, the next item came out as a recommendation from, again, the review to the Local Government Act, which was offering Band 3 and 4 shires the possibility of paying superannuation contributions on elected members' meeting fees, which currently is 12%, I think. 12.5? 11.5, moving up to 12.5 as the ceiling, or 12, yeah. Okay, so recommendation, well, just to give everyone else a bit of background, the councillors present have unanimously decided that it would create too much of a administrative burden, and it is effectively insignificant. Anyway, so putting it to the vote, recommendation 12.4, that council by absolute majority pursuant to section 5.99B of the Local Government Act 1995 opts out from the provision of superannuation contribution payments to all elected members of the Dowerin Shire. Who would like to move that one? Councillor Metcalfe. Councillor Ward seconds. Would either of you like to comment on that motion? No? All those in favour? 6-0. Carried. Yeah. Have you got the copy? Okay, we have one late item which involves the lease on Amery Acres, which is a property just to the east of Dowerin, which is owned by the Shire of Dowerin and leased out for potential community benefit. It's come up for lease renewal. However, due to timing issues, we have decided that the best way forward is to offer an extension of that cropping initiative in a draft memorandum of understanding with the Dowerin Community Club to use it for a further single year from 1st of April 2025 to the 31st of March. This MOU will replace the previous formal sublease agreement. However, the formal process will still take place commencing in September. And perhaps I'd like to invite our CEO to comment on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as requested by council, we did advertise for an expression of interest to crop on that lease. We had one application on that expression of interest. However, while we were going through the process, it has been identified that the timing will clash because it is a Crown land and subleasing will create discrepancies. Therefore, we have the management has decided to go down with the memorandum of understanding process at this stage and reinstate the application process again next year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. So the fallout of all of that was the following recommendation. Recommendation 14.1, that council by simple majority pursuant to section 2.7 and section 5.42 of the Local Government Act 1995, 1, endorses entering an MOU with the Dowerin Community Club Incorporated for the use of Amery Acres for the cropping for a period of 1 year from 1st of April to 1st of April 2025 to the 31st of March 2026, and 2, authorises the CEO to execute the MOU and implement the necessary administrative processes that align with the provision of delegations of powers and duties policy. Who would like to move that motion? Councillor Sewell and Councillor McMorris seconds it. Would either of you like to comment on that? No? Straightforward. All those in favour? 6-0. Carried. We don't have any further reports. I don't have any further urgent business. Do we have any elected members' motions? Nil. That being said, I declare the meeting closed at 4:40, and I thank everyone else for their attendance. Meeting closed.